Mr. Craig Bodenstab, thank you for coming and welcome back to Tokyo.
Always nice to be back.
To the international viewers and other viewers who will be viewing this segment, please give an overview of Orbis and the investment philosophy, please.
Sure, happy to. You know us relatively well, so I apologize, I'll be repeating a few things you know. We're essentially a global asset management firm headquartered in Bermuda with offices around the world. We manage about $25 billion and employ around 350 people globally. Our style is probably best described as fundamental, bottom-up contrarian investing. And essentially what we do is we look around the world for the most attractive equity opportunities in the belief that if you buy assets at less than their intrinsic value, you can provide your investors with what most academics say is very difficult, and that's namely higher returns and hopefully with lower chance of permanent capital loss. And that's essentially what we try to do and have done for the last 23 plus years.
As a global equity investor, when you look at Japan, do you see great investment opportunities as a whole?
Your question has unique timing, as I suspect you know very well. The Japanese market is up, at least in yen terms, up around 40% over the last 4 months. So it's somewhat of a truism when I say it's not as attractive as it was several months ago. Nonetheless, I think we find Japan quite attractive. It's been fascinating when you go through a protracted 2+ decade long bear market, the opportunities one is able to uncover. It's essentially come about because investors around the world have essentially, I think, given up on Japan. And with that, for the active investor anyway, has brought, from our perspective, great opportunities. So we continue to feel like Japan has great opportunities to offer.
Do you find, just to touch upon that, given that Japan right now is posing interesting opportunities, do you find anything unique in Japan that separates itself from the rest of the world, if any?
Look, Japan's probably not as different as many like to think. I can certainly come up with a list of other countries that are much more different. But from an equity investor's perspective, Japan does tend to focus possibly less on shareholders than possibly some of the other participants in the capital structure. You do have a culture that's probably more for lifelong employment, which possibly could lead to some mediocrity, etc. But by and large, probably not that different. I mean, there certainly are some differences, but I think on the whole, probably not that different.
Very informative. Craig, good to see you again. And again, thank you for taking the time to come to Tokyo and be with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you, E.G.